Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Your host, the Raven, here, bringing you some Path of Exile. Not so much action this time, but really just kind of information. I wanted to do some general tips and strategies when dealing with the Immortal Syndicate and the new Betrayal League. I wanted to, when I first encountered this, I wanted to, as soon as you experience it, you want to like blah 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 tell everybody. But the thing is, though, you have to at least know, deal with it, experience it more, because the temptation and the urge and the desire is to come out with a video, as soon as when it's hot. The league just was released, a day or before or the same day, or whatever you want to come out with a video. But at the same time, though, like I think you would have been better off to wait a little bit before I did this. So now I feel confident enough to not give you a full, complete, absolute guide of what you should absolutely, positively do, no matter what, in every situation is foolproof, will never fail you guide, but mostly just like, this is what I've experienced, this is what I know, this is what I've learned, type deal. So anyway, the Immortal Syndicate is comprised of characters from the game's history. A lot of them you may know as the former masters that were, over different skills and, areas in the character development. Tora dealt with, bows and, the ranger type characters and skills and items and weapons and things that might be beneficial to the ranger. Templar has Elrion. Vagan is for fighter, duelist. You have Arichi for, thieving and, that type stuff or whatever, shadow or whatever. So, on and on. So you have the former masters. You have some characters which, to me, they're new. I've never heard of them before. Maybe they were mentioned in the lore or a story before, with the exception of Gravicius and Hillock and who else do I remember? Well, with the exception, right off the top of my head, with the exception of Gravicius and Hillock, the rest of them are new characters, at least, to me. And really, that really doesn't matter. The thing is that what you're trying to do is find out who the leader of the syndicate is and defeat that person. There are various challenges associated with doing the syndicate. Defeat targets 1, 2, 3, and 4. Open safe house stashes. Unveil mods. There's at least there's 6 or 7, possibly even more, that challenges associated with this league. They're just the Immortal Syndicate alone. So if you're trying to get a certain goal, if you're trying to reach a certain goal, doing the Immortal Syndicate content is almost a must. I do believe there's enough challenges to where you don't have to do the Immortal Syndicate stuff and still succeed, but it's a big chunk of the challenges, deal with the Immortal Syndicate. So anyway, what you want to do is find out who the master is and defeat them. On the way, you want to, open safe houses and, do these different things. So anyway, there's 4 safe houses: transportation, fortification, research, and intervention. Each one has a distinctive kind of play style. Transportation is like, stop this thing before it gets to, point A type encounter. Fortification is you'll encounter a fort or a fortress in your map, and the goal is to, break down the door, get in there, and defeat whoever is in charge of the fortress or holding on to the fortress. It's almost kind of like a mini safe house, actually. Research, the goal of research is to you go in there, you'll see a change. June, who is the most of the June will be standing outside. June, the Veil Master, and she'll have it'll be an entrance to an underground facility. The goal when you get in there, which is very confusing, is not to kill the monsters. Your job is to look on your mini map, find the green points, which are syndicate research stuff, evidence that they want you to destroy, whatever. And there's alchemist guys that are trying to destroy that. So you kill them, and it's really easier for me. I just like to. I mostly like I'll kill the guys who are near the green. The near the syndicate evidence or whatever, the alchemist guys and any monsters in that room or whatever, just to be safe. But really though, you basically just want to make your way to the end and defeat the leader of the research facility, whoever that is. You will always know at least one person in general who will jump out, because they will be in that particular tree. Now we're heading to the blood aqueduct. What was that? Okay, hold on. I have to talk to my friend really quickly, guys. Sorry. I like to do my videos live because I have to feel in the mood and feel in the spirit. And when you do things live, things happen, in real time. So I have to answer this really quickly. Okay. So anyway, and I said I'm making. I guess I don't speak English, but anyway, I like to do. We're in the blood aqueduct because actually my friend told me about this. The one I just messaged was the one who enlightened me about the ease of going to the blood aqueduct to do your syndicate stuff. Because the blood aqueduct is a straightforward, front to A to B place. I've never been in here and the syndicate have not spawned. I've been in other maps and the syndicate has, sometimes they won't be in there. All maps will say there's syndicate activity, but that's not always true. If you look under here, you'll say area contains Immortal Syndicate activity. That moniker will be on every map, every area in the game, as long, just except for your hideout, stuff like that. As long as you're doing the Betrayal League. So it's easy to find the syndicate people. Depending on your power level, it's way easier to deal with the syndicate in here than it is later on, because the syndicate members, their strength grows according to the level of the area they're in. So if you're in a tier 16 map, tier 15 map, and you want to battle the syndicate, I mean, you better be ready. I mean, you're in for a rude awakening, but if you just want to meet them so you could get the job done or whatever, I highly recommend coming to the Blood Aqueduct, because, you just run straight until you see them, or during the intervention phase, they jump out and attack you. You deal with them there and then you could just control click and select new area. So anyway, what we're going to do with Tora, you can get a general idea of who is going to pop out and fight you in each instance by checking your map. Transportation, whoever's connected to transportation, they'll pop out. You can generally guarantee, maybe I want to say 70%, 80% chance it'll be one, at least one person from disconnected. If you have multiple people, it's random which one will be guarding what or doing what. If you don't have any people or whatever, which they always put someone in the safe house, so you'll never have an empty safe house. There's loose guys or whatever. So you have people who are attached and you have people who are loose. As you can see, Tora is attached to a fortification, and she's the one who is in charge of this safe house. Now, when you speak to syndicate members, they give you an option. Most of the time, that option is either execution or, throw them in jail for points. Now, the thing is, don't listen to what they say. They'll say, "Oh, it's time for jail again," or "Oh, it looks like it's time for me to die," or whatever. They always have, some, depending on, what, situation that comes up. They always have different dialogues to say. They try to manipulate you into different things. Don't focus on what they say. Only focus on what you need. And if you're working on getting transportation or, safe house open, like if you've never done the safe houses yet, or you've never been to a safe house, and you want to get that unlocked, throwing them in jail will get you the points unless they bargain with you for points. So let's talk to Tora, just, so we can have an example of what they do and say.
A species' survival is only truly tested when its environment changes. If you want to kill me, then kill me. If you want to test me, well, I have an idea.
And see, she's trying to get you, convince you to change her over to another department. Now, and you, or I could throw her in jail. Now, the when you interrogate someone, you will always receive points towards whatever situation they you know, if you get a fortification encounter and you throw that person in jail, they will always give you fortification intelligence. You know, if you get transportation or research or intervention, whatever, whichever, you know, whatever instance pops up, throwing them in prison will net you points towards unlocking the safe house of that particular category. Now, how much points they give depends on their rank. You can rank them up through execution or bargaining. My thing is this: when it comes to the ranks, there is, you know, a challenge for killing certain members of the syndicate at the rank of captain. You know, it's one of the challenges or whatever that I've completed. And that's, once again, that's another thing. If you need them to be at a high, if you need them to be a captain, it's better to execute them when you find them, you know, to get the process going faster. And if you see them and they're at rank 1 or rank 2, you know, they're not rank 3, which is captain, or these 3 stars, you know, in the corner or whatever. If they're, you know, if you see them again and they're not captain and they're like, oh, well, you know, you can throw me in jail or this and that, but you need them to be captain, you don't have to talk to them. Like, say, like, I don't like any of Tora's options. Like, I don't want to throw her, let's, you know, for the sake of the video, let's say I don't like any of these options that she's talking about. I don't like what she has to offer. You're not forced to select something. You can just open up a portal and leave. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna leave because actually I probably do want a little bit. I probably want to throw her in jail. It's probably what I'm gonna do. But you that's one of the key things. You don't have to accept what they offer you. You can either throw them in jail or execute them or bargain, whatever. The throw them in jail option never changes. The option on the left, interrogate, never changes. You always have the ability to interrogate. The option on the right is the one that changes depending on ranks, situations, you know, who's with who, and rivalries, you know, things of that nature that, you know, you constructed yourself throughout, you know, your course of dealing with the syndicate. But if you don't like either choice, you could just leave. Now, when you interrogate someone, they go to jail. The maximum turns they can be in prison is 3 turns. Turns only pass when you encounter another syndicate activity or you go to a safe house. This your this initiated by you. If you're in a party with a friend and you're doing like maps with them, or they're the one whoever creates the instance, whoever is the instance leader, I guess, you know, is a way to put it. Whether you're mapping or whether you're going through the aqueduct, like now, whoever created the instance or who is the instance leader, they're the ones who will get to speak to the syndicate members. You can help your friend kill the syndicate members, but you can't, you know, interact with them or deal with them. And also, if you encounter the syndicate during you know, you're with a friend and you know there's people in your jail or whatever, their turns will not pass if you deal with you know, your friend's syndicate or whatever. Syndicate only keeps time or turns or whatever when it's you're the instance leader. So I have Arion in jail. He's providing me 7 intervention intelligence per turn. He has 1 turn left. So 7 will give me 73% towards intervention or whatever. So anyway, Tora's an intervention. I don't really care for her bonus, and that's another thing that's really important when making your decision about whether to interrogate, whether to bargain, or whatever. First, you know, keep in mind what is your goal. Do you want safe house experience? Do you want experience towards unlocking the safe house? Do you want to rank them up towards captain? You know, for the that particular challenge. Do you want them moved to another place where they give a different bonus? You know, that's all. You know, that's up to you. You have to keep that in mind before you talk to them, and then make your decision based off that. Now, each person is kind of blank. They start off at rank 1, like you see Camaria the Cold-Blooded here, and Gravicius. They're at, you know, they have no stars, no ranks. It that fled, no ranks. when you execute them, you give them a rank. Once they get a rank, they tell you what bonus they get. Each member of the Immortal Syndicate gives a different bonus. They have a different bonus that they give, and that changes what they provide in the safe houses, that you connect them to. Now, right here we have Torah the Color. It says she's providing enchanting gloves, and I don't really even know what that actually means, because if she's enchanting gloves, then it's probably like when you get to the safe house, she'll allow you to enchant, gloves or armor or something like that, or she'll drop, or her loot chest will drop, and enchanted gloves. And I don't really care for enchanted gloves. I do, however, care about getting a safe house experience and opening the safe houses. So in order to get that, the best option for me, she wants to be moved to where she want to go again. Let me see.
A species
Move to
survives
transportation.
only.
Okay, let me shut her up. All right, so she wants to be moved to transportation, but for me, flip flopping her between spots doesn't really do anything for me. It doesn't benefit me. So the most beneficial thing for me in this instance is to imprison her. So that's what I'm gonna do.
A species
Interrogate.
survival is.
Now you can see she's been placed in jail for 3 turns. If your jail is full and you try to interrogate someone new, you can do that, but however, you will have to forfeit whoever. You can only hold 3 people, and you'll have to forfeit some information unless you bargain with the person and they're all free. Then they give you all the information that they were going to give you during their prison sentence or whatever, or jail time. So keep that in mind before you throw somebody in jail. Check your jail, make sure you have the space, or if you don't have the space, you don't really care that you lose exp or experience towards any safe house or whatever that they're providing when you boot them out of prison. Now, I do not know how it's decided who gets booted out. At first, I thought it was a left to right thing. Like if you have a guy here, now say like let's say all 3 are filled, and you put a new person in. I thought that they would boot out the guy on the right, and scoot these 2 over, and then put in the new guy. But I've seen it take people out of the middle, take people out of the left. I'm not quite sure how that's decided. Just as I'm not quite sure how they decide who gets to be in the safe house when you clear one, because there's certain people you want in certain safe houses just for their bonuses. Now we've thrown Tor in jail and moved on from that. I want to get into their bonuses because that's very important. Not only is it important for it's not important so much challenge wise, because what loot they drop in the safe house stashes when you do go to the safe house and defeat it, doesn't count towards a challenge. The safe house boxes themselves are what counts towards a challenge. So when you open one, that counts towards the open safe house. It'll like where's open safe house stashes? Okay, yeah, here it is. Open safe house stashes. So every stash you open in a safe house counts towards these totals. And that happens, period. Now, whether the loot is good or bad or crap or not, that's up to you. And how that's up to you is decided by reading what they have as their bonus. Like here, look, we have guarding, fine, armor smithing equipment. So usually when he's in a line with a safe house and you defeat him, that'll leave like a bench or something where you can craft weapons or whatever. You can armor smith your armor. So anyway, I have really crap armor at the moment, so forgive it. But as you can see, it says quality 24%. I got that quality by using the bench that Hillock provided, So each one provides a bonus. Some are way more profitable and useful than others. That's my personal opinion. Personally, the best safe house and the most lucrative safe house is intervention by far, because it's what gives you the scarabs, and each person gives different types of scarabs, except for some. Always read what they give you, because he gives me strongbox scarabs, which is the ambush scarab or whatever, and Ren Yushu gives cartography scarabs, mapping scarabs. If Chimera is in intervention, which I really enjoy, he gives you the sulfite scarabs, which it forces a Nico spawn in a map or whatever, and Nico gives sulfite according to the area level. So if you use a scarab on an area, a tier 1 map, you might get 100, sulfite or something per, mine or whatever, depending on, the level. But if you open one in a higher level map, you might, get 600 a pop or whatever. So, keep that in mind when you use a scarab. So anyway, now their along with their bonuses, their ranks determine how good the bonus is. Now let's take Haku for example. I have him at the rank of captain, and I have Ren Yushu also at the rank of captain, because the higher their rank, the person is when you defeat them in the safe house, the better loot comes out. Now see, since I have him at rank 3, the rank of captain, if I were to go in the safe house now and defeat the intervention safe house and defeat all the guys who are associated with it, the leader and whoever else is tagged along or attached to it, when you defeat them, you go inside, there'll be sections of the safe house that have stashes in them, and those sections are based on who is attached to that safe house at the time of defeat. Like if I was to go in intervention now, I would have 2 sections. One main section, you'll always have one main section because there's always a safe house leader. So you'll always have that treasure chest. And I would have one more section off to the left or to the right, with another stash in it. And that's because of Haku. And now since he's at level 3, the scarabs he give will be gilded. Same as with Ren. At level 3, she'll give you gilded cartography scarabs. Now, if you have them in at level 1 or, level 2, you might get rusted or, what's the other? There's not shiny. It's polished. It's polished. The middle one. So if you want the best scarabs, you want captains. Now, the thing, though, there's a double-edged sword. The higher their rank, the stronger they are. As you can see, they have little things. Let's take Haku for example. He has 2 items onto the right side of his picture. He has Kantar's coffin, explodes corpses into acid, and Tao Po's toes. He has faster cast speed. So, don't bite off more than you can chew. Of course you want gilded scarabs or the maximum amount of currency or loot or whatever, depending on what safe house or what people that you're interested in. But at the same time, you have to face them in combat and defeat them before you can receive those benefits. So, don't bite off more than you can chew. That's all I can say. You're the one who knows your build, you know your strength, and you know what you can deal with and what you can't. Each character, they follow their namesake with their attacks, kind of. Arion is a Templar, heavy physical damage, energy shield, kind of armor, kind of a tough soldier guy. Tora, she's a huntress. She uses poison damage, chaos damage, physical damage with bow and arrow. So, if you're weak to, like, maybe your chaos res isn't up, or you don't have chaos inoculation or something like that. You're not a CI build, and maybe you're working through the game and you don't have your chaos stuff ready yet. Tora is really dangerous. Like, out of all these people I've faced, I would say Tora was the most dangerous for me because my chaos res is crappy, and that's just because I haven't worked on it. So your build, your strengths and weaknesses. Keep that in mind when you're manipulating who goes where and who goes what. Like, if you're weak to chaos and Tora can one-shot you, you don't want a level 3 Tora in the safe house, unless you're bringing a friend who can kick their butt. There's always an option. Bring a friend. So keep that in mind. Now, also with these items, as they gain ranks, they gain items. There's nothing you can do about it except when you're given the option to betray another syndicate member or syndicate house by, one of the Immortal Syndicate members. So anyway, let's spawn a new syndicate instance. Let's go out. Let's leave, and we're gonna spawn a new syndicate instance by control clicking and creating a new Blood Aqueduct instance. All right. So in order to do that, just go to the Blood Aqueduct, hold down Control, and click, select New, and it'll give you a new spot to start from. So we'll have a new encounter. Hopefully this one will be different. It won't give me another fortification, just for the sake of variety for the video. But it is RNG. You don't know what's gonna pop out. Another reason why I like intervention is because you don't have to guess or look for the syndicate members. They just pop out on top of you, which that can be annoying when you're doing maps or something and you don't want to be bothered with the syndicate. Then intervention sucks because they'll keep, even if you run from them on the map, they'll keep popping out trying to catch you, until you either leave the map or you get killed or you kill them. So that's the thing with intervention. Either you beat them, they beat you, or you leave the map entirely. So, but in this instance, if they pop out, yeah, hey, bring it on. Oh, and it is intervention. Here we go. Speak of the devil. So we got Arion popping out for intervention. Okay, I put him down pretty quickly because, it's, oh, is that a brand? What is that bomb thing? Oh, okay, all right. So we got Arion popping out for intervention. That's another thing, like some, loose members or members of other areas will come in randomly, depending on your relationships or whatever. So Arion, he just was released from prison. I think I had him at the rank of captain. And as he was released from prison, if they have a rank still, like every time you imprison them, they lose one rank. So if they have 2 stars and you imprison them, they'll come out with 1 star. If they have 3, they'll come out with 2, on and on. If they only have 1, they'll come out and they'll be blank, like these kind of loose guys or whatever. Now, let's see. Well, he's at 2 stars. He has 2 items. Lorag's Dream. He's hexproof. He can't be cursed. And Tekaton's Spine. Physical reduction, so he takes less physical damage reduction. So anyway, let's see what he has to say, and we'll see how we decide to deal with him.
Dominus exiled me too, Thought I were too soft for Templar leadership, and that my radical ideas might turn others against him. He was right. I have a knack for bringing others round to my way of thinking without too much blood. Perhaps you should consider using such a talent yourself.
Okay, so he's offering to bargain or whatever. And now, once again, always focus on your needs or your goals. Do you need experience? Do you need him as rank of captain? Do you want to level him up? Because he gives reliquary scarabs. So if you want better reliquary scarabs, you want the gilded scarabs, it behooves you to execute him or whatever it was, or whatever option you have to increase his rank and not decrease his rank. Now, I do like reliquary scarabs. But also, well, I don't have to rush the safe house, really. I mean, because I kind of want to get Camaria in there, because he gives really good, I like his scarabs. He gives the sulfite scarabs or whatever. So, if it fled will give you breach scarabs. Like, some of them will give you scarabs, and some of them won't. Each house gives different things what they're attached to according to their bonus. So anyway, when you interrogate somebody, and if they have a rank when they come out of interrogation, they'll return to the original safe house that you got them out of. Like if they jump, like Arion just jumped out of intervention. He's part of intervention. If I throw him in jail, I'll get 15 intervention experience. For him being in jail for 3 turns. 5 per turn, and he'll lose 1 rank. Since he's at 2. That means he'll be released from jail and he'll be sent back into intervention. Tora, however, who's in the jail currently, only has 1 star. When she's released, she's just going to go back to the general population pool that's in the syndicate. or whatever. So, keep that in mind too if you want them returned. Now, see, my benefit is he only offering to remove rivalries from the Immortal Syndicate, and that would only help me if I needed, for them to be trusted or not be rivals. But I've already completed the rivalry challenge or whatever. Like, which one is that? It might be defeat targets. Is it 2? No. These are captains of safe houses. What's defeat targets 1? Okay, yeah. I've already done the defeat targets 1 challenge. So you see it says, while assisted by friends, while hindered by rivals, assisted or hindered by subordinates or superiors. I've already done that, so it doesn't matter to me who's rivaling who loves who, or whatever. All that's irrelevant. It's just kind of, it doesn't matter to me. So it's more better for me to actually imprison
Dominus exiled
Arion.
me too, Thought I
I
were
wish he
too
had
soft
shut
for
up. Let's interrogate him real quick.
The Inquisition never ends.
All
However,
right, so we got him in jail. Now, what's going to happen? He's going to provide 5 interventions, intelligence for 3 turns. And when he comes out, he'll have 1 star and he'll be attached, back into intervention, which I'll probably try to execute him again to get him up to rank of captain because I want the best scarabs out of the intervention safe house or whatever. So, but you also, it doesn't matter if you have everybody in intervention and they're all given the best scarabs. It still don't matter unless you actually open the safe house. And in order to do that, you have to fill this meter. So you have to, somebody has to go to jail sooner or later, period. You know what I mean? So, just take that into account, what you want. Now, as you can see, I have one person who is just a question mark in the Immortal Syndicate. I strongly believe that I've done every single person because there's only so many members. And the one person I don't see on here, I don't have Riker Maloney because I just kicked him out of the syndicate a while back. And there might be 1 or 2 others or something that I can't, I don't know, keep all of them in my mind or whatever. But there's a finite number of syndicate members. So swapping one out, like booting that person out, if you don't need their benefits or whatever, like for the challenges, like it's because some are specific. Like as you can see, defeat targets 2, you have to defeat them at the rank of captain while they're outside the safe house. And I've done all that, so it doesn't really, I don't need anybody specifically, for that reason. But, check your challenges, whatever you're going to. Like, see, here, I just need Ren Yushu in other places other than intervention. But she's she's a captain of the intervention safe house now. She's rank 3, and she's giving me the best scare. So for now, that's where, I want her. When I defeat her in the safe house, she's gonna get kicked out anyway, and hopefully then she'll show up and she'll be back in the general edition pop, and I can manipulate her to finish up this challenge or whatever. So anyway, always check your goals. Make sure your goals are clear in mind, what you need out of these people, what's beneficial to you, and then act accordingly to that. Now, when you kick somebody out, first make sure you don't need them for anything. That's the most beneficial way to do it. And when you kick one person out, someone is always going to come take their place. Now, who takes their place, as far as I know, is completely random. But, it's the randomness is negated by the fact that there's only so many people in it anyway. If you have, everyone here, then they can't pull. You can't get Corel. It can't be, this question mark can't be Corel because Corel is right here. You see what I'm saying? So basically, if you need someone who isn't a part of your current active syndicate, just keep throwing people out until the person you need pops up. It's RNG. When I very first started the Betrayal League and started this character, I had Gravicius in the syndicate. He was like one of the first people. But me, I didn't like Gravicius' personality. He was evil during the main game storyline. He's one of the bosses you have to face. So he was evil then. He's evil now. I didn't like him then. I don't like him now. So when I encountered him during this league, the first time he gave me the option to chuck him out, I did. And I never saw him until the near the end where I am now, because then I realized after checking my challenges I needed Gravicius. You see, he's one of the persons that you need for. He needs to be captain level. You don't need him to be in any job, and but I think you also need something else from him. You need veiled mods from him. Let's see, where's the veiled mods challenge? It should have a green check mark on it. Here is it. Defeat? No, that's defeat targets 4. Unveil mods. Here we are. So now unveil mods. You need a prefix. Gravicius. You do need. Well, you don't need a mod. You only need 12 out of 18. As you can see, I have 17 out of 18. I'm only missing Katarina. So you don't specifically need him, but if you already have him in your syndicate, if you already have a certain member, it's better to go on and get him checked off first, then chuck them out. If you need someone else, you know what I mean. Like take whatever is giving you RNG at the start of the game. Take that, check off all their names, then boot them out for the people you don't have. There's always like maybe 2 or 3 that you don't have. So you have to stay on it. It does take some significant effort when playing. It's not you can't complete these challenges just by mindlessly killing and throwing people in jail or executing. You have to like pay attention to what you're doing, which I think is really good because it kind of does make you a detective of sorts. You know what I mean? Like you're a video game detective. You're not really trying to find out who's doing what, because all of them are evil. There is no good guy, or whatever. They're just all being manipulated by the mastermind, whoever that person. Which, for the sake of this video, I have been to the mastermind safe house. I know who the mastermind is. I'm just not gonna say that for people, because I'm making this video for people who are learning about the syndicate and are trying to learn. So I don't want to spoil that. But yeah. So they're all like anybody involved with the syndicate are lackeys of the mastermind, and whether they want to, willing to or not, that's what their situation is. So there's neither here. I'm not going to reveal who the mastermind is. And also the mastermind is very difficult. I haven't defeated her with this character yet. And, because once again, you have to, where is your build? Your build level and current level and abilities or whatever, and what you've been doing, such, blase, blase, blah. So anyway, I'm trying to think, what else can I say about this thing that'll be important? Okay, well, veiled mods. We do have a veiled item here, so that's a good thing. This is my least favorite part of the Immortal Syndicate activity. Number one, all modded items that come with a veiled mod are already identified, which that annoys me in my loop because I like to go through you hold shift and just identify everything in your thing, and then you hit that and it's like, well, you already identified this. So you've already identified it, but it's already identified, but you don't know what the veiled mod is. And the only way to do that is to talk to June either at the moment of instance after. She won't do it unless you've actually gotten rid of all the syndicate members. Now, the only person who came out in this instance was Arion. We chucked him in jail, so now she's free to unveil the mod. Let's see what it is. Now, once again, modding is another player-specific thing. I can't give you should do this, you should do that, absolutes. What you do, in general, you want to unlock all of them, but for crafting purposes or, purposes of leveling up, obviously read what each veiled mod, it always give you a choice of 3. And either you can get one that completely, like it's brand new and you get it, and that's how you do some of the, the unveil mods challenge. Or you've already gotten it and you're given the option to make it stronger, depending on, the mod. So out of these 3, I've already got this middle one. It's max rank. And so I'm not gonna pick that one. If you pick one that's already max rank or already full bar, you just wasted your turn or time or whatever. Now, so what I like to do is look for the one that has the least experience and level those up first. That way, because you want to get the hard stuff out of the way because it makes it easier on you in the long run. So they're both these two. I have two available mods to add experience to. Both are level 3. Trying to go to rank 4. So I'm gonna pick the one that has the least amount, and that's this one: 76% increased physical damage, 16% chance to impale enemies on hit with attacks. So I'm gonna pick this one, and you can see it gave the meter according to it shows you the gray shows you how much you're gonna get. Sometimes it'll just go all the way up, bling, and other times it'll be like this where I still got a little bit of ways to go for that. You get the mod on the item or whatever. So if you want to use that particular weapon or piece of armor and it has a good mod on it, be my guest. You know what I mean? Is yours for the taking. So we got that done, and she also, if you forget, which this is another reason why I don't like the Veil mods, because once you've done the challenge, it kind of takes the punch out of dealing with the Veil mods. I mean, for crafting purposes, yes, but once again, I've been playing for Path of Exile for more than 4 years, and the mods thing is new. Basically, to me, they're basically just reintroducing the old crafting recipes, but now you got to unlock them and add, level them up and all this other kind of crap. I kind of wish I like the older system of, hey, these are the mods. Use the bench and put whatever mod on the crafting bench or whatever. So anyway, speaking of the crafting bench and mods, let's go look at that real quick. We're gonna go to the hideout because that's where you get the crafting bench. That I do like the crafting bench because it's all in one. The old masters, each one had their own crafting bench, and you could only do certain items, armors, or weapons on certain benches. And while it wasn't the worst system ever in the world, it is way more convenient to just have one crafting bench for all your crafting needs or whatever. It has every mod available that you've unlocked previously or whatever. So you got all these and each one is like put up on and the list or whatever. So whatever you need is up here. You can read each section by clicking on each individual icon, or you could just slap a thing on the bench and it'll automatically go to its appropriate thing, and then you can put whatever mods and stuff that you want on there. But I do feel the mod thing is I still don't like the unlock the recipe thing. Like, just give me the friggin' recipes. You know what I mean? Like, especially, if you're just coming to the game, you'll have a different perspective because it's brand new to you. This is the only way to get the crafting recipes and mods you need. So like it or lump it or whatever. But for me, to me, it's like, okay, whatever. You're reintroducing what I've already had, and you just made it more complicated by having to. Not only do I have to unlock the mod, I have to level it up. So I just think that's just a little bit unnecessary. Like, they took one step forward by consolidating all the crafting into one bench, but they took a step back by making you have to level up the mods themselves that you unlock. Like, why? I just don't understand why once you unlock it, why can't you have it at max? Like, who wants to go through levels 1 through 4 on the same mods? I just think it's very tedious. So anyway, last subject I'm gonna talk about in this video is if you do have a safe house ready. As you can see, I have the Mastermind safe house ready actually. When you do have that ready, you can talk to her. If you can't talk to her in the instance where you fight the Immortal Syndicate or whatever, like I could have spoken to her in the Blood Aqueduct and asked for the safe house there. But the thing with that is, depending on where she stands or her positioning on the map, she probably won't open the thing if there's objects and stuff nearby. She has to have room for portals. Just like you have to think of June as the map device. As you can see, I have the, space around my map device because you need space to open the portals. If you have the map device jammed up against a wall, or you have, tables and chairs around the map device, it won't, and they block the space. I guess you could put like vases and stuff, long as it doesn't block the portals. But anyway, if the portals are blocked, it won't work. Same thing with June. If June is in a map, you encounter her in a map, and the safe house is ready, and you want to go, but she's up against a wall or a cliff, or there's some other object nearby. She can't open all the portals. She won't. So better to my strategy is to play it safe and sorry, and just come to your hideout. Make sure she's in a clear space with enough room for the portals. Talk to her there. Go to show investigation. Open safe house. Now, if the safe house bar if it says safe house but the bar is gray, you can't access it. Probably means you need to pass a turn, or the thing is blocked. Sometimes it's happened to me twice. I've had it where it's if you need experience, it'll be like this. It'll just show a bar leveling up. But when the safe house is ready, it'll say safe house, and it'll be red. I've had two experiences where it would say safe house underneath the character's portrait or whatever, but it would be grayed out and I couldn't access it. So I'm not entirely sure what the problem was at those times. I think it had to do with turns or jails or something. I'm not sure. Somebody was giving experience towards the safe house completion, and while it did give them the experience or something, they were still in jail and they had to come out, something like that. I don't know the true nature of the problem. But I do know that when it says safe house and it's red, that's when you talk to June to access it. And in the safe house, it's basically just Path of Exile gameplay. You have to know the strength of your build, what you can handle, what you can't handle. Whoever is attached with, a little rope, it doesn't matter what color the rope is. If they're attached to a certain safe house, they will come out to fight you during the safe house encounter. Now, they may or may not come and fight you during the instances in the maps. As you can see, like I just did intervention instance, only Arion popped out to fight. Haku didn't pop out to fight. Ren didn't pop out to fight. But if I were to go into the intervention safe house, and let's say Arion wasn't in jail, Arion was still, right here, you would have to fight Ren, Haku, and Arion. So, once again, I've said it before in the video, but I'm saying it again. Make sure you know what you're dealing with, and the more level, the higher their rank, they have items with them, they're stronger. So you have to keep those factors in mind. Now, you can get rid of people's items through betrayal, so keep your eyes open for that. But a lot of times, especially where you're not you're dealing with your own amount of patience, you might just, hey, look, I want to do the safe house now. I don't want to wait around until somebody wants to betray somebody and delete all their items. So that's up to you. You can play the long game, wait for somebody to break bad and betray and get their items erased. That does make it significantly easier when you do attack the safe house, that they don't have like stat boosting items on them. But at the same time, also, speed, time, patience. If you need it, you want it now, blah, 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 then go in there then. But you will have to deal with them at their levels. So keep that in mind. Anyway, that's all I can think of at the moment. That's relevant that I can think of this about the Immortal Syndicate. If you haven't reached the Blood Aqueduct, you can always spawn a new instance of a map, a current map or whatever, or a current area you have access to in the storyline. Like, let's say you're in the middle of, let's say you're on Act 3, Battlefront. I mean, if you're comfortable with battling the Syndicate there, or, you can handle them there, go there. The control click always works to spawn a new instance, and the Syndicate will be in there. Although, be prepared for the fact that they may not spawn. There's been a couple of times throughout the story that gone inside the, an area looking for the syndicate for farming to farm the syndicate, and they weren't in there. Period. You know what I mean? Nobody popped out. There was no intervention popped out. There wasn't a fortress or transportation. They just simply weren't in there. So, however, at the Blood Aqueduct, I have never experienced an empty instance. And I don't know if that has to do with map level or something of that nature. Um, or it's just a Blood Aqueduct is just some special area. Who knows? I don't know. But if you have access to the Blood Aqueduct, that's what I recommend to fight them, because all you have to do is just run straight. Run straight until they either pop out in intervention, or you run and encounter them in a fort or whatever item they have, or instance is randomly generated or whatever. So yeah, that's the Immortal Syndicate. Love them or hate them, depending on their personality. There's some I can't stand. Like, I don't like Camaria's personality at all, but his bonus when he has, when he's in, he gives the gilded sulfite scarabs. So I keep him as a active member of the syndicate, so I can, have the chance to manipulate him into the intervention safe house, and so I can get the sulfite scarabs or whatever. So anyway, love them or hate them, just use the tips and strategies I've given you to manipulate the members to your own ends. And I said I wouldn't spoil the mastermind, but I'm gonna say this: you are the mastermind because you decide who goes where, who does what, who gives what, and what you receive, all through ranking them up, throwing them in jail, or, betraying or friending or whatever. Now, when it comes to friends and betrayals, I mean, that's pretty straightforward. If you need people to be friends, like you need the defeat targets one, while assisted by friends or hindered by rivals. I mean, just do that. If you need a certain, make friends. I would say make friends or rivals, depending on, whichever you feel or comes up. And then until you have that completed, and get that out of the way as quickly as possible. That way you don't have to, that's one less thing you have to worry about when you're interrogating them or talking to them on the battlefield or whatever. So friends and subordinates, just, if somebody wants to be trusted or become trusted or allies or whatever, trusted means they're friends, rivals means they're enemies. So if you need people to be trusted so they'll come out in encounters and help their friend and you can defeat, towards this challenge, then do so. If you need them to be enemies so you can, defeat this challenge, then do that. You know what I mean? It's just, pretty straightforward, but that's what it means. Now, all the ropes and stuff like that, the colors show you there is a key here. Yellow just means they're in the same division, which, they'll always have a yellow rope from the mastermind to the safe houses, and there'll always be a yellow rope, for these guys. They're in the same area, they're in the same safe house, but they're not friends or rivals. Green means they trust each other, so that means if they pop out with a friend, you'll get, points towards the challenge of, assisted by friends. If it's red, that means they hate each other, they're rivals, and you'll get points towards their rivals or whatever. So, and, it just tells you, what the items do or whatever. Well, basically, whether it's back, helmet, boots, whatever they have, it just gives them bonuses to their stats or whatever. It makes them stronger. So, yeah, I think, once again, not 100% foolproof, absolute, full, perfect guide to the Immortal Syndicate, but it's what I've learned while dealing with it, which I did find a little bit confusing at first, because, I was, you think you have to take notes or something because, who's trusting who and who's doing what, but you're not actually trying to solve a mystery or a case. You're basically just trying to manipulate all the people into, wherever you need to, for the challenges or whatever. The mastermind is the mastermind, whoever the evil dude is revealed to be or whatever. But, besides what I just said about you being the real mastermind. So, with that said, I'm your host, the Raven. I hope this video was informative. I know it wasn't kind of in order because, once again, I like to do things live. I like to do things in the spirit. So as I think of them and, I speak on them, I'll So look in the video about during different sections or whatever. If you need like information repeated on a certain section, then just go back to that part of the video and find that out. And other than that, I hope it was informative. I hope it helps you out. Keep enjoying Path of Exile, and keep enjoying this Betrayal League. And thank you for watching, and have a great day.